While navigating the complexities of managing my art business, a full-time job, and motherhood, I realized I wasn't the only one with this struggle. So many other artists out there are facing the same challenge, struggling with your passion and yet with the profession that maybe is taking a lot of your work, as well as little ones running in the background. How am I making it work? This inspired me to create a video series designed for artists like you, those who are deeply passionate about their art but also have other significant commitments. The idea is to create a resource that is free, digestible, and accommodating to your busy schedule. I remembered how I felt overwhelming, and I still do sometimes. I'm constantly behind in the creators groups and classes that I joined years ago. It felt like everybody else had a lot of time while I didn't. I had my full-time job and then I got pregnant and I had my baby. I don't have a full day to dedicate to my art business every single day. I see you struggling there, and I want to offer you a guide that you can follow at your own pace whenever you want, interrupt it how many times you want, and not feel the pressure of having to do it all now. You already have a lot of stuff going on. But maybe you're asking, why am I here talking about my art business while I still work full-time, right? Or how can my art business be successful if I'm still working full-time? And these are really good questions, and I want to answer before I jump in the rest. I had defined years ago a series of priorities for my life: building a home, growing our family, just to name a couple. And knowing who I am, I really wouldn't feel comfortable doing these things without a reliable paycheck to fall on. They're big things, so I'm sure you'll understand. I'm not going to share publicly, obviously, all the details of how much I make in my art business or my daily job, or what our expenses are as a family. But I also want to add that because I live abroad, I do not have the support of my family for childcare or if I was to need help. This current setup is what feels safe for us at the moment. Things might change or not, who knows. Your situation might be different or very similar, and the great thing about running your art business is that it's really your business and you decide when and how you're ready for a jump. There are so many ways you can do this. You just have to do it, which I know is the hardest part and probably why you're here. Over the years, I had conversations with a lot of people about the fact that I do art shows while I work full-time, or how did I manage to prepare a full body of work and sell it while I had my baby and returning to work. Well, the key is that I'm extremely focused on my goal, so I do make time for this. This is my little obsession and what my brain constantly thinks about 24/7. And also at the same time, I do want to take a nap. So I decided to create this video series as a guide to starting and managing an art business for those with limited time. It covers everything from time management, marketing, to legal basics. This series is structured to be easy to follow with practical tips and real-life examples. I'll share insights on balancing day-to-day life with your art and also setting achievable goals that make sense for you while trying to make the most of the limited time that you have. I'm going to release 5 more videos with specific focus on time management and staying motivated, pricing and financing your art, marketing and Instagram, setting up an online store, an email list, plus legal basics, and lastly, defining your unique art style while defining as well your art selling style. At the end, I'll host a Q&A session as well to answer your questions, so you can leave comments here below or DM me on Instagram, send me an email, whatever works for you. I've been doing this for the last 7 years, without a baby before, through pregnancy, and now with a toddler. And I believe that with the right approach, even the busiest artists can find ways to thrive in their artistic and personal and professional lives. In this video series, I'll share my personal journey of starting my art business while working full-time and through motherhood. We'll go through the lessons I learned, the challenging I faced, and how I managed to balance everything. My story is about perseverance, strategic planning, and the ultimate and unconditional love for art. There is a quote that I really like, and it says, "I sogni non costano nulla se non la fatica di andarci vicino," which translates into dreams cost nothing except the effort of getting close to them. So if you want to know my personal story, it's linked in the video description. And you should know that my love for painting began as a child, but it was always something that I did for myself, my personal escape of colors and creativity. While it was a dream to sell my art, I never thought it was actually possible. However, in 2016, things changed and I realized that my art could be more than just an hobby. It could be a viable source of income, and I could make this happen. This epiphany wasn't just about money, it was about really connecting with others through my art and bringing colors into their lives. It was about being fully who I am, an artist. So I took the plunge and started my art business. Balancing my full-time job with this new adventure wasn't easy. There were days when I felt like I was living two separate lives, one in the world of my daily job and the other one in the free-flowing, vibrant world of art. This dual life was challenging, but it also taught me invaluable lessons about time management and the importance of pursuing my passion. When I started, I joined few online courses to learn how to set up your passive income with online courses, how to market yourself, how to collect emails, and so on. And somehow I always felt behind. I had a lot of work to do and all these courses were going crazy fast. It was only because I didn't have 3 days to dedicate my online course. I barely had an hour a day sometimes, and there was a lot to do. It made me feel like I was failing and I was behind, but I wasn't. It's very important for you to celebrate your circumstances, to value them, because realistically, this is going to take a while. If you have a family and a full-time job, this will take a while, but it's okay, because in the meantime, you can refine your goals, you can adjust your trajectory based on your timing. It would be amazing if there was a magic wand, but unfortunately there isn't. And all the work that you see online, all the courses that I have, all the artworks, my Instagram account, all of that is years in the making, years of work. Also when nobody was buying my art, also when I was losing followers on Instagram, also when my email lists were shrinking, and the last thing I wanted to do was show up online. As I said before, I'm going to have dedicated videos in upcoming months, and on purpose they aren't coming out all together. I don't want this to be a course where you feel like you have to power through immediately to get all the knowledge, because this will take time. If you start seeing yourself there, wherever there means for you, then it will be easier. One of the first things I learned on this journey was the importance of treating my art not just a passion but as a business. So have a specific bank account, write down expenses, what you make, and having also dedicated time for this. Something quite important was also to delegate what I can't do or don't want to do. Create a business plan with specific goals. For example, do you want to sell your art only? Do you want it to be online? Do you want to create courses? Do you want to work with galleries? There are so many different things that you can do, and every artist is different, and the way you decide to sell your art is extremely specific to you and to your life, and also where you are. These are important decisions to make because at this moment in time there are a lot of different ways to sell your art, a lot of online opportunities and platforms to support you. In reality, you can't do everything. You can't do them all. I mean, in theory, you can, but quite likely you won't have the time to try them all, to focus on them all. Do you want to create a YouTube account and teach online and generate passive income from YouTube? Or would you rather work with a local gallery? These are two very valid options, but they also require a very different approach. And if you're working full-time or you're a parent, realistically, you won't be able to do everything. So you have to be selective. So think about your previous experiences. Have you already sold your art? For example, you sold art at a Christmas market. Did you like the experience? Did you sell something? Would you see yourself selling at other markets? And on top of that, what was the cost of being at the market? How much did you make? How many markets would you have to make a year to be self-sufficient? Maybe while doing this exercise, you see that you would have to be at 100 markets a year to make a living. So what are your options here? Either you raise your prices or add online print making to your plan. So that kind of covers certain costs. So you wouldn't have to drive around like a crazy artist to a gazillion of different markets. The last thing I want to touch on for today is the fact that your consistency in doing this work is what will make the difference in the long run. Success rarely happens overnight. Learning to be patient and persistent was the key to my growth as an artist, and that reflected on my online presence and sales. The reality is that you have to make time for it. All the artists out there who are working full-time and perhaps even raising a family know that it's possible to make a business out of your art. It requires being smart, focused and patient, not just with your business but with yourself as well. Make time for what is important to you. Your art deserves to be seen and appreciated. With dedication and strategic planning, you can turn your passion into a thriving business. Remember, it's not about finding more time, it's about making the most of the time you have. You got this. I'll see you in the next video about time management and how to stay motivated. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, leave a comment here below. And if you want to work with me, there's a link in the video description. Ciao, ciao!